Imagine you've had someone quietly walking beside you your entire life, never forcing, never demanding, just gently nudging when you're willing to listen. Many spiritual traditions believe we all have unseen guidance. Others believe it's simply our subconscious mind at work. So what's really happening? Who or what might be speaking when intuition suddenly feels crystal clear? Today we're exploring the fascinating world of spirit guides. And as always, we're asking the question, are you psychic too? Hey, star people, welcome to another episode of Are You Psychic Too? The show where we explore spirituality, intuition, consciousness, and all things wonderfully woo. Today we're talking about a subject that's fascinated people for centuries, spirit guides. Whether you believe they're real beings, symbolic archetypes, or simply another way of understanding intuition, millions of people report experiences they believe point toward guidance from something beyond themselves. So let's dive in. I'm Cliff, but I could not do this alone. Jenni, Kelsey, how are you guys doing today?
Hello, I'm Jenni.
I'm Kelsey. I'm doing great today.
All right, good to hear it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about spirit guides. So the idea of spirit guides appears in cultures all around the world. Although the names differ, the basic concept is remarkably similar. Many people believe there are non-physical intelligences whose purpose is to guide, encourage, or help us throughout our lives. Others see spirit guides as symbolic representations of our subconscious or higher self, rather than being separate beings. Whatever your belief, the concept has been part of human spirituality for thousands of years. So guys, when you hear the term spirit guide, what does that actually mean to you?
I think spirit guides are energetic beings that are here to support my life path journey. And I also don't believe that they've been incarnated before, but they have some knowledge of what it's like to be on Earth. And so they help us, guide us, and navigate this earthly experience.
That's interesting. So they haven't been incarnated on Earth. Then how do they know? Because you said they know about life on Earth. How do they know that?
They are really, the vibrational frequency that they vibrate at is very similar to Earth's vibration. And so they're kind of familiar with. You guys are looking at me like, what?
No, I get where you're going. It's like if you work with mice your whole life, you don't have to be a mouse to know how mice behave. So that's kind of what you're saying. It's like these are beings that they've never been incarnated as humans, but they work with humans for many, many times. So they get to know. Okay, I get it.
But it's also like the frequency at which they vibrate. It's very similar to like what we vibrate here in Earth.
So we tend to hear the word spirit and immediately picture like ghosts or invisible beings floating around us. But in reality, spirit to me is an animating intelligence that gives life meaning and direction. It's like the invisible essence behind the visible form. You can't put it under a microscope, but you experience it. So like the unseen. Okay, so then what is a guide? A guide isn't someone who lives your life for you. A guide simply knows the terrain better than you. So a guide is anything that influences the direction of our consciousness. Mm-hmm. So when I hear the phrase spirit guide, I don't necessarily think of a mystical being hovering over me, giving us directions or whatever, but I think of an intelligence. So it comes in many forms. Departed loved one, an angel, higher self, something beyond our current understanding that helps orient our consciousness.
So you don't necessarily think of some mystical being hovering over your shoulder, and yet you said they could be angels. Isn't that kind of a mystical being hovering over your shoulder?
I guess I don't know if they're hovering over my shoulder. They are messengers. I do think they are a type of guide. I also think the word angel comes with a lot of definitions and a varying across cultures. So
Okay.
I just think it's an unseen intelligence.
Do you think that everyone has spirit guides, or is that something only certain people experience?
Yeah, I think the majority of us have spirit guides. And when I think of spirit guides, I think of like a very specific energetic being. I don't think of angels or ancestors as spirit guides. I think them as like a separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I believe that the majority of us has one or has many or a couple.
Wait,
but I have.
So you said the majority.
Yeah.
Because I believe everybody's got guides in this
So
life. So which people would not have guides in your
I don't know, because I haven't experienced this personally, but I have heard of another psychic saying that she did a reading for someone and they didn't have any spirit guides. And so I don't know what that looks like. And
Me either.
I don't know if it's true, but
that'd be hard to believe.
Anything's possible.
Yeah, I don't. What do you think about that, Jen? I don't know about that.
I personally think that everyone has them. It's whether they listen to them or are aware of them. When I've done readings before, I can feel when the person has a block up. And if they've got a block up toward me, then they probably have a block up toward guidance of any kind. So maybe that's what the psychic was seeing, was that there's a block up.
Yeah, I would go with that. I would say that it's more like that they're not being seen as opposed to they're not existing.
Maybe. I really trust her. So if she said that, I'm like, well, I believe it. So I don't,
That's maybe. So sad.
I know. Well, I think she said something like, this person, it made sense to this person as to not having guides because she wouldn't take any guidance from anybody else but herself. And so,
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe there are people that don't have guides. I don't know. I would have thought that maybe everybody has access to them and then their free will can allow them to say, no, don't need you. Okay, so people describe many different kinds of guides. Some believe they're guardian angels. Others believe they're departed loved ones, ancestors, teachers, animal spirits, or even highly evolved souls who volunteer to help us learn. Different traditions explain them differently, but they all point toward the possibility that guidance may come from somewhere beyond our everyday awareness. So, guys, do you think that these are actually different kinds of beings or just different names for the same experience?
Yeah, I think they're all different. I think of angels as being at a very different vibration. And when I interact with them, it's kind of like I picture them swooping down to give me the information or provide the help that you need, and then they go right back up. Versus spirit guides, I feel like are with you all the time. And same thing with ancestors. I don't think they stick around all the time just making sure you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, they got more important stuff to do.
Yeah, they have other things they need to do. So they kind of go off and do other things and they come back, check on you and leave. But versus spirit guides, I think they're always here.
Do you guys think that all cultures have a concept of spirit guides, even if they call them by different names?
One thing I've noticed is that guides often appear in forms that we'll actually listen to. So someone raised Catholic may experience the Virgin Mary or an angel. And in near-death experiences or NDEs, it's recorded that individuals see Jesus or Yeshua and communicating with his energy during their NDE, which kind of confirms their religious belief, right?
Yeah.
So a native might see an indigenous elder. Another person may encounter like a wolf or an owl or even a wise grandmother that they've never met. So I always ask, well, what does this energy or this figure represent inside your psyche? You know, what does it represent to you? Even the grandmother or the, you know, because of the different cultures, there's no way of honing in on saying one is right or one is the real thing. It's real to that person.
Well, what do guardian angels, spirit guides, ancestors, animal spirits, or helping spirits, what do they all have in common?
They're all trying to communicate with us. They're all trying to send us messages and let us know that we are human while here, but we are also divine. They're trying to connect. So
So we
If it
basically
is-
see the forms that we're, like you said, if you're a devout Christian, you're going to see Mother Mary or Jesus.
Mhm.
If you're a Native American, you're going to see, an elder or,
Right. They'll communicate in whatever form speaks to us. And if it is truly an external guide, it's still speaking the same symbolic language of the soul, something that you will resonate with or understand.
That brings up an interesting point. How do they communicate? So movies often portray spirit guides as voices that clearly speak to us. Real life, however, seems much quieter. People commonly describe guidance arriving as an intuition, a dream, an unexpected coincidence, a feeling they can't ignore, or information that arrives at exactly the right moment. If spirit guides exist, perhaps they're less interested in giving orders and more interested in offering gentle nudges. You guys, have you ever received guidance from your spirit guide or guides?
Yeah. I've received guidance from my spirit guide. I have this interesting story. There was one time where it was pretty early on in my spiritual development and like working with my spirit guides. And before working with certain clients, I usually do like a consult call where I then in the middle of that call, I will channel and ask my guides and my higher self, is it okay for us to be working together? And there was one time where they said, no, this client, you shouldn't be working with him. And you should just say, sorry, you can't help them. But instead, because I perceived him to be very innocent and genuine, I was just like, well, this is going to have to be a hard lesson. And it was.
Wait,
it was a hard lesson.
Hard lesson for you or for him?
Yeah, for me. It was a hard lesson for me because I got so stuck into a situation where I almost wanted to pull out of like doing any of this stuff. I didn't want to get into my spirituality. I thought I was a fraud. I thought I was fake. I thought it was awful. And the more that he, I don't even know what it was with him. It was a very interesting dynamic where I thought I was really trying to help somebody. And I don't think he could have received help. I think it kind of just pulled me further away where I just didn't believe in myself anymore.
Well, this brings up an interesting question. How do you tell the difference between genuine guidance and simply hearing what you want to hear?
I think it's just practice. Practice and practice and practice. And I still struggle with this because there is how do you know? I think for me, it's just a really strong feeling. I get a really strong feeling of this is the guidance. And sometimes it's not what I want to hear. And then it's easier to listen because it's like, well, that's not what I would have said.
Well, yeah, because exactly
sometimes...
in this instance, they said, don't work with this person. You're like, I'm going to work with him anyway. And so you were ignoring your information.
So that's like really easy when it doesn't like jive with what I want to hear. But when the guidance is also something that you want to hear, I think that's when it gets a little bit harder to listen to because it's like, am I just making this up or is this really the direction I need to take?
Yeah, personal bias.
I believe that spirit rarely overrides free will. That's kind of the condition that we are incarnated with down here.
Right. Yeah.
That's the whole point of the guide, the movement. It seems to invite rather than force. So to give you the choice.
Yeah, absolutely. Free will trumps all, I think, or it gives you the opportunity. All right. So spirit guides, why don't they just tell us what to do? It's an interesting question. If spirit guides are here to help, why not simply tell us exactly what decision to make? Many spiritual traditions suggest that guidance is meant to preserve our freedom to choose, free will, like you just said, Jen. Instead of removing life's challenges, perhaps guidance simply shines a light on possible paths where leaving the decision in our hands is the final answer. So if you always knew the right answer, would life lose some of its purpose, you guys?
I think so. I think it would take the learning out of life. Like, how are you going to learn your lessons if someone's always giving you the answer?
And they keep telling us that this is a school. So if we're not learning, Yeah.
Yeah, Earth School. Yeah, it's not the spirit guide's job to tell us what to do. That would defeat the whole purpose of incarnating here and
Yeah.
experiencing free will and choice. And we're definitely here and we're sent here to learn something and experience something in particular. And not all guidance is comfortable. That's the problem.
True that. All right. Well, of course, not everyone believes in spirit guides as separate spiritual beings. Psychology offers another perspective. Some researchers suggest that what people experience as guidance may actually come from the subconscious mind, part of ourselves that's constantly processing information outside our conscious awareness. Perhaps these experiences don't have to be one or the other. Maybe what matters most isn't where guidance comes from, but whether it helps us become wiser, kinder, and more authentic versions of ourselves. So you guys, does it matter whether guidance comes from an external guide or from our own subconscious?
So this is an interesting question, because what if guidance arises through the subconscious or unconscious, because that's the doorway available to spirit? So maybe spirit doesn't bypass the psyche or the unconscious subconscious. Maybe it works through it. Whether guidance originates outside of us or inside of us, we still have to develop enough humility and self-awareness to recognize it when it comes through.
That makes sense. Well, do you feel like you're being guided by your subconscious more than by your guides?
I think so. I think the majority of my life has been guided by my subconscious. And I think in the subconscious, that's where the conditioning, the patterns, the programming, that's where it all lies. And so I think all my life, it's just been kind of going by what I already know.
Yeah.
Versus receiving guidance.
Yeah, I agree. I think your subconscious patterning is way stronger than it's had years, decades to build up to where it is. Okay, guys, could both explanations describe different aspects of the same experience?
I think so. I think they work together.
Yeah, I think like so many of these things that we talk about, there's always a little of column A, a little of column B. It's never just one thing. It's not like all spirit guides or all subconscious. It's a combo package. All right, so how do we discern guidance that comes from inside ourselves from guidance that may come from outside ourselves?
Through dreams, through relationships, through synchronicity, through connection, through nature, through loss and suffering, through beauty, through those quiet moments where something inside of us suddenly knows.
Yeah.
I'm still learning. I'm not sure. I'm still trying to discern what, and all of this it's all fascinating. This is why I really enjoy talking about it, because I didn't study psychology. I'm still learning this stuff. And
yeah,
so
I learn more about psychology every week with Jenni.
Gosh.
So, but it's for,
go ahead, Kels. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, for me, I think it's all spirit guides, and I would, as of right now, I consider them two different things. My psyche and my spirit guides, two different subjects.
And I think the names, what we name things, the language is very limited. And so, Kelsey and I might have the same experience from guides, angels, whatever, and then we'll call it something completely different because we're trying to name something that's unnameable.
Right. And also just the general semantics that we use in life. One word can mean a bunch of different things, and depending on who you're talking to. If you're talking to a skater and you say a certain word to them, it's going to mean something. If you say it to your grandfather, it's going to mean something completely different. I don't know what that word is, but I'm sure there's a word that
radical.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. But yeah, I kind of agree with you guys, both you guys in this. I think that the subconscious training is very strong, and I think it's separate from what our guides are trying to help us with. Maybe the guides are trying to help us get through some of that psychological stuff that we've built up over decades, and they're trying to help guide us through back to our true selves.
That's what I meant before when I said working through it.
Yeah.
To help us.
I agree. Okay. Well, Whether you believe in spirit guides as being real spiritual companions, expressions of your higher self, or simply a powerful way of understanding intuition, the stories people share are remarkably consistent across cultures and throughout history. Perhaps the greatest value isn't proving whether guides exist. Perhaps it's learning how to become quieter, more aware, and more open to whatever wisdom life may be offering us. So, guys, any final thoughts on what spirit guides are, what their role might play in our lives, anything that might help our listeners understand it a little bit better?
They are friends.
Yes, I agree.
I think of them as friends, and also they speak in the same language as you speak in. So if you're a very sarcastic person, they're going to come off sarcastic because you understand that. That's your language. And so that's how they talk to me. They're very sassy.
That's a good point, Kels.
That actually is a great point, because I think dreams do the same thing, although that's a whole different episode. But I think dreams speak in your vernacular as well. It's like if you're a sassy person, that's what they'll give you, because they know what you're going to understand.
I agree. And my spirit guides are very stern. They kind of are pushy and strict. And I started realizing, well, I wonder if that's what I listened to when I was younger. So that's, again, bringing up the subconscious beliefs and programming. Like, did I only respond to that type of teaching? And so they started off that way. And as I'm saying, hey, let's be more friendly, I'll still listen to you. And it's been a little bit eased up, which is kind of interesting.
Now, from the first time you guys got involved with your guides, however you see them, has it changed? I mean, when you first experienced them, it must have been kind of like a shock. I know it was for me. Has it changed for you as you've gotten to know them better? I mean, if that's a thing you can do. I mean, they're your friends, right?
I'm not sure if it's changed or if I just listen more.
Yeah.
And take the guidance and not think that I know it all, and let my ego have a nap, and actually say, I'm going to try this out and see where it goes. And unmistakably, when I do take the guidance, there's a better outcome for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I used to have a neighbor who was really hard of hearing, and I just got to the point where I could have a full conversation with him because I just had to listen better. You think it's kind of like that with your spirit guides, where?
Well, when I first started chatting it up with my spirit guides, I think it has changed a lot. I think even their shape and their forms have changed. Like, I think when I first started talking to them, they were kind of like the elements. I don't remember, Jenni, you were a part of that. I think, remember you, like, we were doing some sessions in the very beginning, early days.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw them as like earth, air, fire, and water. I don't see that anymore. I think now I kind of talk with my higher self the most. And I haven't checked in on my guides recently, and I don't know why.
I remember you used to have like a big long table and a bunch of them sitting at the table, and they were basically telling you what to do.
Oh,
that's what
council.
I saw.
That's something else.
Okay, so I see your counsel as spirit guides because so I'm not differentiating that, maybe, and maybe you need to clarify that for me. But I saw your guides as colors at some point. They each had a role that had to do with a color, and so this is a great topic, because when we discuss, well, what exactly is a spirit guide, we can't really put our finger on it, and
It's
so we just have to say it's some
everybody.
higher intelligence. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, people, for as many people as talk about them, they're going to describe them differently. They're a color, they're an orb, a glowing orb. They look like an angel with wings. Well, maybe not wings, that would be an angel, but they look like a person. So they're going to appear. I think it's the same way you guys are saying. It's like they speak in your language. So if you're somebody who needs to see Jesus, then they'll appear as Jesus to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because ultimately they want, he is great. Ultimately they want to help you. So they're going to choose. I mean, if they're the all-knowing ones, then they're going to choose the way that is going to best get through to you. to best help you, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, if there was one takeaway that you'd want the listeners to remember about spirit guides, guys, what do you think? What would it be?
I, again, would say listen, trust, and then if you follow the guidance, assess what happens after, because it might be an uncomfortable decision that you have to make and you're being guided to do. But after that, see where your life goes and see if it benefited you, because it's my belief that they're on our side. And if we do listen and are open, our awareness will increase and our consciousness will elevate more and more.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of like channeling. It's like you channel on something and then you get the answer and you see if that answer is correct or not. It's kind of like it helps you move forward with it. Same way hearing your guidance. They give you a certain bit of guidance, you follow it. What was your outcome? That's a great way to see if you're moving in the right direction, I would think. How about you,
Right.
Kels? What do you think?
Yeah, I think even if you're not into spirit guides or being psychic or any of this stuff, you don't have to be into it to still receive messages from your spirit guides, because they're just here to help. So I think in those moments, what you want to look for, it's usually like the moments of inspiration, like when it just hits you and you're like, oh, I just feel really inspired to go to the coffee shop today. Like that could be a spirit guide telling you something.
Yeah, and you actually bring up an important point, Kelsey. We don't want to make this too woo-woo, because it's. I mean, I know the title is "Are You Psychic Too?" but everybody is psychic. That's kind of the joke of the title in a way. But it's also, we're not trying to exclude people that aren't into this sort of thing. Like you said, you're going to get a hit that says, go to the coffee shop today. You may not think of it as spirit guides or intuition or any of that. But if you follow that and you get good results, then, what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with a coffee buzz?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we wrap up, we'd love to hear from you, listeners. Have you ever had an experience that felt like guidance from a spirit guide? If so, we would love to hear from you. Just go to our website, areyouPsychic2.com, click on the connect and contact us through there. Let us know, and you can get a hold of us through all the links there. They're all in the show notes down there. So until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and we'll be back next week with a new episode. I'm Cliff.
I'm Jenny. Stay connected.
And I'm Kelsey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow.
And check out the Woo Files.
That's right, the Woo Files. It's our short version of weird and wonderful stuff. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.